What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new reaction. This time we are once again back with JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Stone Ocean with episode 14. Now, before we jump right in, ladies and gentlemen, there's an announcement I gotta make and some change of plans for this batch of episodes. Now, as you guys may know, as I mentioned in my last review when the second batch of episodes first dropped, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do I'll review one episode right now, and then during fall break, I'll get up to like episode 6 or something, and then I'll finish up the rest of the episodes during Christmas break. That is not happening anymore because it was revealed. I think between when I first dropped that review and today, that the third batch and apparently the last batch of episodes for part 6 are going to be dropping in December, and there's no way in hell I'm spending all of my winter break just struggling to review 24 episodes alongside trying to get through movies and everything for the top 10. It's just not feasible. So during fall break, I'm gonna just binge through and get through all of these reviews, all of these episodes I have left, and get them up for you guys by Friday. I'm hoping to get I'm hoping to get all the reviews finished by Friday so I can release them all on Friday, JoJo Friday. So yeah, but I might end up getting some bleed over, or I might drop some on Thursday, just depending on how I'm feeling or whatever. But yeah, little change of plans with these episodes and batch episodes, and actually the third trailer for the trailer for the third batch episode has recently dropped as well, which I haven't watched yet. Obviously, I'm gonna wait. I'll react to that one once I'm done with these episodes, and I'll react to you guys for you. But yeah, anyway, guys, this episode's fantastic, man, and let's jump right in. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick before we jump right in fully into the episode is that y'all know how these episodes always start off with a little like recap of what's been going on in the previous episodes. One thing I thought was kind of weird with this episode, and I honestly thought I was watching the wrong episode. I thought I was watching episode 13 again. Was the recap they used was only from like the last 2 episodes of just the fight between Jolene and Father Pucci, and then like it didn't like mention anything from the last episode with Hermes, and of course her trying to get revenge and like avenge her sister, which I thought was kind of weird that they did like mention that at all. Instead, they're focusing solely on Father Pucci and of course him having like one of Dio's bones. I don't know. I feel like for a recap, that was kind of weird that they just didn't mention the last episode at all and put it in there. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Anyway, when the episode actually does begin, Jolene starts punching the invisible crocodile with Stone Ocean, but of course doesn't do much, and then she gets like thrown into a wall. Then she takes a play out of Andrew Garfield's playbook and starts wrapping her thread all around the floor of the hallway. Obviously, if there's any motion or anything, she'll be able to take it because the thing will be moving. Honestly, I don't know about y'all, but like literally, the second I saw Jolene do this, I instantly thought of that scene from Taz when Peter like connects all of his webs into like the like little like manholes or whatever, the sewers, trying to figure out where the lizard was. It just instantly reminded me of that scene, man. The second I saw it, I just couldn't help but think of that scene. Anyway, Jolene thinks that there's a particular reason why Sports Maximum is after them, and that they'll find out once they see through his disc. Well, after Hermes tells Jolene and FF to get out of there, she doesn't because they know there's got to be something going on with Sports Maximum, and she thinks once they find and get the CDs, they'll know for sure. Hermes says that's a great idea. Maybe you should think about getting the fuck out of this hallway first. Which I know I've mentioned this. I know I mentioned this already in my reviews last episode and probably even the first batch episodes. I don't really remember particularly, but it's still so jarring hearing f-bombs and fucks in anime. And like once again, I gotta ask this: why is it only the Netflix dubs doing this? Like, you never hear this from Crunchyroll series, you never hear it from Funimation, well before they got merged, and I don't know, probably Senta doesn't do it either. It's just so weird how Netflix is the only one that isn't scared to drop the F-bomb here and there in their dubs. I don't know if this is some mandate by Netflix, because remember, Bang Zoom's still doing the dub as they were for all the previous parts. So it's like... like, was there just some law in anime dub, some unwritten rule that says no F-bombs, no fucks? Like, I understand for certain series, more kid-friendly, of course, there was Toonami and everything, but I guess because this is Netflix, they're like, yeah, y'all can say fuck, no worries. I don't know, man. Even now, that's still so jarring to see in an anime. It's just hearing characters say fuck. Anyway, After that, Jolene is looking around trying to figure out where the stand is. We see like some breath coming from behind, and that's when we find out that the invisible crocodile is coming through the walls, and he takes a huge chunk out of her shoulder, like swings her around a little bit before she once again slams her down on the floor, breaking up her little like thread web thing she had already created. And then Irma starts freaking out like, damn it, that's coming from the wall, that we're surrounded, and that we can't, that's coming from every direction. And then Irma starts telling the stand like, leave him alone, and also telling FF to get out of there. She doesn't, that she is also a part of this fight, that she has a bone to pick with this invisible crocodile as well, because of course it took her leg like it was an afternoon snack, as she said. So then she's like, oh, I bet it's still in its stomach too. So then she kind of like leaves her arm out there, almost like presenting it to the crocodile, daring it to eat her. Jolene tells her like, no, Hermes, he'll bite you again, and it does. But not Hermes. FF knows that she's now inside the mouth of the creature. So then she turns her hand, and we see like the hammer of like a pistol appear on top of her finger. Which I think this is the first time we've seen this in the anime. We've seen FF do this with like her little like stand gun thing she has. I might be wrong. We might have saw this in one of the previous episodes. Don't really remember for certain. It's been with all the long gaps between the reviews so far, so I could be wrong on that one. But I'm pretty sure this is the first time we have seen this ability from Jolene, or from FF. Excuse me. So she just starts blasting the crocodile, eventually completely destroying the actual like little figure crocodile where the stand, I guess, originated from. And then of course, meaning that they finally did get rid of the actual stand crocodile, and now he is gone. So then after all of that is finished up, FF tries to heal up Jolene. She like actually takes the little beaten off pieces of like her shoulder and starts to like put them back in there. Like, ah, shit, I don't even know this even fits in there. It's all broken up. And then Hermes comes in there with a giant bucket of water. Of course, FF, we all know how much you love for water. You'll need this. She's like, yeah, thanks. And then actually, rather FF, heals the little cut that Hermes had like right underneath her eye, and then actually reattached her finger as well, and she has complete mobility of it, like nothing happened. So then, after that, that's when Jolene and Hermes notice that the pipe is open. The pipe that she stuck Sports Maximum in, and obviously had him drowning in the sewage. It's now open. She's wondering, like, oh, did he actually drown this time? She can't tell. And Hermes looks to investigate. It's too dark. She can't tell for sure if he actually drowned or went deeper into the pipe. But then that's when we start to notice some handprints on the thing, obviously insinuating that he escaped out of the pipe. Don't know how he broke through the pipe, but somehow he managed to break through. Now, this I honestly thought was pretty clever on how they kind of revealed what actually happened to Sports Maximum. I thought it was pretty cool, and it also reminded me a lot of The Sixth Sense, with how M Night Shyamalan kind of like left little hints on what the twist was, which I won't spoil it in case you guys still haven't seen that movie. Which which is funny enough. Speaking of the Sixth Sense, apparently in some time in Part 6, M Night, or not M Night. Iraqi trip spoils the ending of Sixth Sense. Apparently, I heard that some video. I forget where it was, in some video I was watching about JoJo, and they mentioned how apparently Part 6 Iraqi spoils the ending of the Sixth Sense. And remember, this was back in the '90s when Part 6 was published in the manga, so this would have been like right after the movie had come out. So yeah, That's actually the case. That's pretty funny. Anyway, he's like leaning against the wall. He's like, "What the hell is going on? Why can't I remember anything? Where was I? I can't remember what direction I was going in." Which I was gonna say, I don't know who voiced Sports Maximum the dub, but bro, shout out to him, man. I'm like 90% certain he's voiced by a black dude, but shout out to him, man. I loved his performance. He was great, man, and he was great in this. And his performance was great throughout the episode. Anyway, he eventually realized that he was on his way to the chapel and grabbing the bone, for the Dio bone. And that's when we get a quick flashback to when he met with Pale Snake. Pale Snake reminds him, "Hey, if you don't get the job done, I'm gonna get rid of the gift I gave you, and I won't be gentleman." Obviously, I'm assuming we're talking about removing the stand CDs out of him, so he doesn't have stand powers anymore. So anyway, he starts like walking in towards where the cathedral is, and he's complaining, "Damn, man, I'm really fucking thirsty, man. I'm really thirsty." So he eventually gets to like one of the like areas that I guess crosses over into some of the other areas of the prison, and like holds like some cash up to the prison guard, but the prison guard doesn't acknowledge him. He's just still standing there, leaned back in his chair, reading his magazine, and it's like, damn, I'm holding the money. He doesn't even acknowledge the bribe. So then he goes over to this girl, who I gotta say, she kind of bad though. I mean, I know I'm a little biased saying that because y'all know I got a thing for redheads, but hey, not gonna lie, man, she was kind of bad. I'd smash. Obviously with protection, because God knows that she's probably carrying something. I mean, fucking around in a prison, bro. So much carrying something. Let's be real. Let us be real, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so she's still. This also that was pretty funny. Where the dude starts, where Sports Maximum is trying to remember her name, and he's like, what the hell was her name? Fucking bitch will do. Just thought it was funny. He never actually ends up calling her bitch, surprisingly. But I thought it was funny. He was like, yeah, fucking bitch will do. So then he tries to get over her, try to sweet talk her a little bit, like, hey, I want to go over to get a drink. You want to join me for the cafe? Then afterwards, we can, go to a nice dark corner, you know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to trying to woo her a little bit to obviously, fuck her. So, but she too doesn't acknowledge him. In fact, once he starts to get close to her and put her arm around her shoulder, she actually kicks the dude in the stomach or knees the dude in the stomach that's right next to her. Now, it's also kind of weird that she thought he was the one because they were like, there was like at least like 3 feet between them in terms of distance between them. So I don't know how she thinks she could like just stretch over and get right back that quickly without making any sort of noise. But whatever the case would be, she kicks him in the stomach. It's like, hey man, keep up the merchandise. If you want to touch the goods, show the money. And then the sportsman's like, oh, did this mongrel try to touch you without paying you? And then he kicks this poor dude in the stomach too. This poor dude, man, this man can't catch a break. So then he drags him into like this dark corner, this like dark like prison cell. In here, and then basically starts stripping him, looking for his money. And the whole time he is actually talking to her, but she doesn't really directly acknowledge him. She can't even hear him, but he thinks but he kind of like thinks he does, but she isn't. Where he like tells her to help me look for his money. He eventually starts searching him. She finds a little bulge in his sleeve, finds a $20 bill. She's like, "Oh, you work here tonight? Why didn't you say it at the beginning?" And she's like, "That's what I just said. Damn you really are slow." So then he starts continuing patting him down, looking for money. He looks inside his mouth. He might think he might have some. And then this is when it starts to get a little weird because then this dude takes his pants off and then he pulls him up by his legs, and you can see in the foreground while we're focusing on her that his legs are moving all over the place. And mind you, the dude is complete. This is when it's basically revealed that he is too one of these invisible spirit, these like undead zombie ghost things, as well, because we see once again he's like more transparent at this point. Of course, we also see like him pulling a syringe out there, but he's like completely invisible. We see him moving his legs around, but we can't see him actually doing it. But anyway, as I was saying, you see this dude moving his legs around there while she's talking like, "Oh hell no, man, I've done some weird shit in my day, but this is too much." And then you can just while she's doing it, you just see his legs moving all over the place. I'm like, bro, what are you looking for? Where are you even looking? Why are you moving his legs this much? Are you looking at his dick? Are you like looking inside the slit of his dick, seeing if he like stores some money in there? Which, if that's even possible, that would be extremely painful. But like, bro, what are you doing with the man's legs, bro? Anyway, so as I was saying, that's when he pulls out the syringe and injects it to him. I don't know what was in the syringe, but whatever the case may be, he injects it to him, and then that's when we start to see the sewage from the pipe that we saw earlier episode start to ooze out of every orifice in his body, and we even see him start coming out of his eyes too, which I'm sure wasn't a pleasant experience. So then, what the redhead sees, she just sees sewage coming out of the wall, out of the ceiling. So she's just like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks," and just runs away. Then that's when Sports Maximum charges towards her and look what it looks like bit into her skull. Now, from the actual shot itself, you can't really get a good look at exactly what he is doing. All we see is what looks like her scalp splitting open, and then we see what looks weird looks like a tree branch coming out of her head, although it could just be like her flesh connected to her scalp, and then just like blood everywhere before we get a close up to Sports Maximum's face as we just see blood just envelop the screen. So I think what happened is he like bit her head and like split up open her scalp slash skull. But like I said, I couldn't really tell for certain from the way it was shot. But yeah, either way, she did. Which yes, I was a little sad to see the redhead baddie die, but whatever. Anyway, as he is feasting on her skull, Sports Maximum says that he just wasn't thirsty. He was starving, man. And then after he's done like munching on her skull, we see the blood has covered up his body. We get to see a slight outline of what he looks like, obviously with all the blood all over his body. And he just starts screaming out, and we see like he has like a vampire fang on like one side. He's like, ah, I'm so damn thirsty. So, which I don't even know how with all that blood you just ate, bro. I feel like that would quench your thirst, but whatever. Anyway, we're back to Hermes and Jolene as they start trying to figure out where Sports Maximum is. That's when they eventually find her corpse. So once they eventually found her corpse, that's when Jolene mentioned that he's probably here. He probably has the CDs, and let's go get him. So Hermes says, she's like, great, I'll grab the CDs. You wait outside. But of course, right as she says that, bam, the door is shut closed, and Jolene uses Stone Ocean to try and bust open. Obviously, it doesn't work. Then she uses her threads to cover up the area, obviously doing the whole thing she did earlier in the episode, the trying to figure out where he is in the third dimension, as she said. And then that's when eventually she ends up finding him and kicks him like in his arm, breaking it. Or at least we're breaking it more than it apparently already was. But then Sports Maximum grabs her leg and like is holding her upside down. But she eventually ends up getting her threads around around Sports Maximum himself, and you see the threads around like an outline of where he is. Of course, still uses Stone Ocean on him, and that's when we start to see the woman's corpse start reacting to the punches. So that's when Hermes tells her, hey, that it's not sport. That's not Sports Maximum. The body was a decoy and you fell for it. Jolene tries to block the incoming attack. Doesn't really do much to help at all. So then after Jolene gets attacked and she's sent to the floor, Hermes starts looking around and is like, where are you, you motherfucker? Like I said, it's so jarring to hear F-bombs in anime, but whatever. I've already mentioned this before in the review. Anyway, Jolene uses her threads again, trying to figure out where he is. And then this is when these episodes decide to become a straight up like 60s horror movie, because the camera pans away. We see some gravestones with the menacing kanji as we start to see zombies rise from them like it's fucking Night of the Living Dead or something, as all these zombies slowly start to approach them. So then that's when Jolene, tells them that I'm going to extend my friend out as far as I can to get FF over here, but we need to retreat and we need to back off. You can get your revenge another time, I promise, Hermes. This is when Hermes decides to take matters into her own hands. She carefully maneuvers past, Jolene's little like threat she's got going on there, and she's just standing there waiting for the zombies to approach us. Jolene is screaming, "Her like, no, you can't do this! You can't do this! Come on, we need to back off!" And as Hermes tells her people have said constantly that revenge will bring your sister back, as if I don't already know that they don't know what I really want, and then. The zombies finally get towards them, and then they all the zombies, take their pound of flesh as she sits there waiting for Sports Maximum to make his move so that she knows exactly where he is. Eventually, he takes a huge bite out of her skull, but Hermes had planned for this, and we see that she actually put a sticker on her head so that what Sports Maximum was like the copy of her head, not her actual head. Hermes then goes to punch Sports Maximum, but she ends up hitting nothing but air because he's nothing but a disembodied head at this point. And then Sports says, "See, you're so predictable. I knew you would do that." Which I mentioned this before, but bears repeating. I don't know who voices him in the dub, but shout out to the VA who voices Sports Maximum dub, bro. This dude literally stole the show the entire episode, man. He was so fucking awesome, man. I love Sports Maximum. So his performance is amazing, man. So then, as he continues gloating on against Hermes, we then get a quick flashback to one of Sports Maximum goons strangling Hermes' sister, and then we see another one of the zombies goes in there to bite the back of her shoulder. She punches them. A few of the other zombies come in there. She takes care of them as well, as Sports Maximum reattaches his head to the rest of his body. And so then That's when then Sports Maximum goes and rips off the sticker from her head, obviously bringing her face back into one and sending her down to the ground. But then when when the sticker is removed, I guess because he took a bite out of her skull, that also affected Sports Maximum, where we see this giant hole open up in like his chest area. This gives Hermes the opportunity to ID where his exact location is, and then we basically get like the 7-page Muda, but with Hermes just saying, and this one's for Gloria, and this one, and this one, and this one. This scene was awesome, man. But we start this off where when she gets a lock on ID. I thought this was pretty cool. We see like these like red dots along the center of his face, going from his chin to the top of his skull, which I'm assuming was meant to show the trajectory of where Hermes's kick was going. Where I don't know if she went from like the top of her skull and then like her kick and then like her foot like slid down to like his jaw as the force was coming down on him, or she just hit him in the jaw, because it looks like he just hit him in the jaw. Because we see like some of it, like a bunch of his like bottom teeth just start falling out from the impact of the kick. This is when Hermes just starts going ham on this guy, just doing the whole and this one, and this one. Before then, she's not done yet. Hermes then pulls up like a copy of his head, which she also has a sticker on, brings it back together, and then of course, like I said, this is when we get the 7-page Muda basically, but with Hermes saying, and this one, and this one, and this one. And shouts to Hermes' WA, man. Her performance right here was fantastic. Also, I need to give a huge shout to whoever did the storyboards and the key animation for this part of the episode, because the detail on Hermes and Smack, fantastic, man. The detail on her face and everything, this part of the episode looked really fucking good, man. So shout out to the animators that worked on this episode, this part of the episode in particular, because I thought the key animation and the storyboarding right here during this part of the episode was fantastic, man. So shout out to them, man. Shouts to them. And then in typical JoJo's fashion, we see Hermes' sister's ghost right before she heads back to the afterlife. We see the 2 CDs fall to the ground. Irma starts crying, saying that she confessed her crying now, that she wants nothing to do but just to sob her eyes out by Jolene, but she doesn't have the energy or time to do it, and that's when she faints. She starts crying out to FF to get over here, and then we get to the end credits. Now, I noticed when I was watching on Netflix that the whole little thing didn't pop up, like, skip to the next episode, which I never do. I always watch the OP, I always watch the ED, I never skip them. Never skip them for animes, man. I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I never skip it. I always listen to the OP and ED. I don't skip that shit. Because we're not heretics around here. And so then we actually found that the revoice was because we have a post-credit scene where we basically see what happened to Jillian, what led to the beginning of the last episode, where the security guards caught her, they took her down, and we see her back in the hole as she's just munching down on that bread, being like, yeah, I know what to do. And she's just literally she is angrily munching on that bread, and she's like, yeah, I know what I have to do, man. She is motivated, man. This woman is eating with a purpose, man. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when the episode actually ends. Fucking amazing episode, man. I loved it. Especially the Hermes fight at the end of it was really well done, man. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the rest of this batch of episodes. Curious to see where it goes. And yeah, should be fun, man. So overall, my final verdict for this episode will be a 9.5 out of 10, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. You like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my socials if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. She's too